What if I told you that one of the most powerful things you could do for your testosterone, for your energy, your drive, your morning confidence, and yes, your strength, wasn't sitting in a prescription bottle? What if it was already in your kitchen, right now, waiting to be added to the cup of coffee you're probably drinking as you watch this? I know how that sounds. I know you've heard promises before, but I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes because what I'm about to share isn't a sales pitch and it isn't a shortcut. It's backed by real research, it's specific to men over 60, and in my clinic, I have watched it quietly change lives. You deserve to know what's actually in your corner, and today, that's exactly what I'm going to show you. Here's the myth. Most men believe that testosterone loss after 60 is simply inevitable, a one-way street with no exits. Nothing to be done except accept the fatigue, the fading drive, and the slow dimming of the man they used to be. And I understand completely why you believe that. Every message you've received, from advertising, from well-meaning but underinformed doctors, from the culture at large, has told you that this is just aging. Accept it gracefully. But here's what 14 years of clinical experience and a rapidly growing body of nutritional and endocrinological research have actually proven. Testosterone decline is real, but the rate of that decline and your body's ability to support and maintain healthy levels is profoundly influenced by what you put into it every single day. The body is not a broken machine after 70. It is a machine running on the wrong fuel. Change the fuel, even in small, consistent ways, and the output changes too. That is not wishful thinking. That is physiology. And that is what today is about. For those of you joining me for the first time, I'm Dr. Mariana, a board-certified urologist and men's health specialist with over 14 years of clinical experience working directly with men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Men who came to me exhausted, foggy, and convinced their best years were behind them. Time and again, the right information, applied with consistency and intention, restored what they thought was gone for good. My approach has never been about selling you something. It's about giving your body the specific tools it needs at this stage of life. And today, that tool fits in a teaspoon. Before we get into it, quick favor. Hit the like button right now. It helps YouTube put this information in front of the men who need it most. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below telling me, where are you watching from today? I love seeing how far this community of wise, health-forward men and women reaches. Now let's get into the science. The first ingredient, and the one I recommend most consistently to men in their 60s and 70s, is ashwagandha root extract, specifically the KSM-66 standardized form. Now, I know the name sounds exotic, but this root has been used medicinally for over 3,000 years, and modern clinical science has finally caught up with what traditional medicine always knew. Think of your hormonal system as a factory. In your 30s and 40s, that factory ran at full capacity. By the time you hit 60 and 70, the factory hasn't shut down, but it's running on a skeleton crew. The machines are still there, the wiring is still intact. What's missing is the signal, the go command from your brain to your body to keep producing. Ashwagandha works by reducing cortisol, the stress hormone that, when elevated, actively suppresses testosterone production. Cortisol and testosterone are essentially on a seesaw. When one goes up, the other comes down. A randomized, double-blind clinical trial published in the American Journal of Men's Health found that men taking ashwagandha extract experienced a significant increase in testosterone levels compared to the placebo group, alongside improvements in vitality, muscle recovery, and mood. In my clinic, men who add this consistently report feeling more like themselves within 4 to 8 weeks. Not a dramatic overnight transformation, a steady, real return. Practically, add 300 to 600 milligrams of KSM-66 ashwagandha to your morning coffee or a smoothie. It's available in capsule or powder form. Take it with food for best absorption. Consistency over weeks, not days, is what creates the shift. And speaking of things that signal your body to keep producing, what I'm about to share next is something most men have never thought to connect to their testosterone. Here's something that surprises almost every man I share it with. Magnesium is one of the most important minerals for testosterone production, and over 70% of men over 60 are deficient in it. 70%. That means if you're in a room with 10 of your peers, 7 of them are running their hormonal engine without a critical lubricant. Think of magnesium as the oil in your car's engine. The engine can run without it for a while, but it runs rough, it runs hot, and eventually things start breaking down in ways that seem unrelated to the real cause. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. including the process by which testosterone is synthesized and made biologically available. Research published in Biological Trace Element Research found a direct positive correlation between magnesium levels and testosterone in men, and the relationship was strongest in men over 65. This matters emotionally because so many men experiencing low energy, poor sleep, irritability, and declining drive have been told this is simply aging. In many cases, it is deficiency, not destiny. Practically, add half a teaspoon of magnesium glycinate powder to your morning coffee. It dissolves easily and has minimal taste. Alternatively, take 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate in capsule form at night, as it also significantly improves sleep quality, and sleep is where your testosterone is produced. Start tonight. This one change alone, done consistently, can shift how you feel within 2 to 3 weeks. But here's where most men stop short, and what I'm about to share is the piece that makes everything else work better. I want to pause here for a moment. How many of the things I've mentioned so far have you actually tried? And did you notice any difference? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one, and your real-world experience might be exactly what another man in this community needs to hear. Now, vitamin D3. And I say this clearly in my clinic. Vitamin D is not really a vitamin. It is a hormone, a steroid hormone to be precise, and it plays a direct role in testosterone synthesis. Think of D3 as the master key that unlocks a dozen doors in your endocrine system simultaneously. When levels are sufficient, those doors open. When levels are low, which they are in the majority of men over 60, especially those living in northern climates or who spend limited time outdoors, those doors stay shut, regardless of everything else you do. A landmark study in hormone and metabolic research followed men over 12 months and found that those supplementing with vitamin D experienced a 25% increase in testosterone levels compared to placebo. 25%. That is not a marginal improvement. That is the difference between a man who feels like himself and a man who doesn't recognize himself in the mirror anymore. The emotional weight here is significant because this deficiency is silent. It doesn't announce itself. It just quietly steals your drive, your mood, your strength, and your morning confidence, and lets you blame age for all of it. Practically, add 3,000 to 5,000 IU of vitamin D3 to your morning routine, always taken with vitamin K2. This pairing ensures the D3 is directed to your bones and muscles rather than your arteries. Take it with your fattiest meal of the day for best absorption. Get your levels tested. Ask your doctor for a 25 OH vitamin D blood panel. Target levels between 50 and 80 nanograms per milliliter. And this next ingredient, paired with D3, creates what I call a synergistic testosterone stack that very few men know about. Zinc is to your testosterone what a goalkeeper is to a football team. It doesn't score the goals, but without it, everything falls apart. Zinc is required at multiple points in the testosterone production pathway, and it also acts as a powerful inhibitor of aromatase, the enzyme that converts your testosterone into estrogen. Yes, men have estrogen. And in men over 60, aromatase activity tends to increase, meaning more of your already declining testosterone is being quietly converted into the very hormone it's competing against. Zinc blocks that process. Think of it as plugging a slow leak in your hormonal plumbing. Research in nutrition consistently shows that zinc supplementation in deficient men restores testosterone levels significantly, and men over 60 are among the most likely to be deficient due to reduced dietary absorption and increased urinary loss. The dignity issue here is real. Men who experience the symptoms of low testosterone, fatigue, emotional flatness, reduced strength, declining intimate performance, often carry tremendous shame about it. When the cause is something as simple and correctable as zinc deficiency, that shame is not only unnecessary, it is a barrier to a fix that was sitting in a supplement cabinet the whole time. Practically, add 25 to 45 milligrams of zinc bisglycinate or zinc picolinate to your morning coffee or take it with breakfast. Do not exceed 50 milligrams daily without medical supervision. Too much zinc interferes with copper absorption. Pair with the magnesium and D3 already discussed, and you've built the foundation of a genuine hormonal support system. Now, the next secret is one I save for patients who have done everything right and still feel something is missing. This one surprises them every time. Tonkatali, also known as Euricoma longifolia, is a root extract from Southeast Asia that has been used for centuries as a male vitality tonic. And unlike many traditional remedies, this one has earned serious scientific credibility in recent years. Here's the mechanism that makes it remarkable. A significant portion of your testosterone, even what your body is still producing, is not freely available. It's bound to a protein called sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG. Bound testosterone is essentially locked in a cage. It exists, but your body cannot use it. Think of it like money sitting in a frozen bank account, technically yours, but completely inaccessible when you need it. Tonkatali works by reducing SHBG, which frees up that bound testosterone and makes it biologically active. The result is not more testosterone from thin air. It's more usable testosterone from what your body is already producing. A clinical study published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found that men taking Tonkatali experienced significant improvements in free testosterone, energy, mood, and muscle strength, and the effects were most pronounced in older men. In my clinic, I've seen men in their late 60s and early 70s describe this as the thing that finally made the other changes click into place. Practically, look for a standardized extract of at least 100-to-1 ratio. Take 200 to 400 milligrams in the morning. It can be added to coffee or taken as a capsule. Allow 4 to 6 weeks of consistent use before assessing results. Pair with zinc and D3 for a compounded effect. And the final secret I want to share today is the one that ties all of these together, and it requires nothing more than a single small habit shift starting tomorrow morning. Here is something most men get wrong. They try one thing for a week, feel nothing, and quit. Hormonal change is not fast. It is slow, cumulative, and deeply responsive to consistency. Your body did not lose its vitality in a week. It will not reclaim it in one either. But the compounding effect of the right ingredients taken together over 60 to 90 days is something I have watched transform men who had fully accepted a diminished version of themselves. Think of your morning coffee as a delivery vehicle, not a magic potion, a vehicle, a daily ritual that becomes the anchor for every hormonal support strategy in this video. Here is the protocol I recommend. Start with your regular morning coffee. Add half a teaspoon of magnesium glycinate powder. Take your D3 and K2 capsule alongside it with breakfast. Add your ashwagandha, KSM66 form, either in powder form mixed in or as a capsule. Take your zinc with the same meal. And if you've added Tonkatali, take that as well. The entire stack takes 30 seconds. It costs less per day than a fast food lunch. And its impact on your hormonal health, your energy, your sleep, your mood, and your morning confidence is something that compounds quietly and powerfully over weeks and months. This is not about chasing youth. It is about protecting the vitality you still have and reclaiming what has been quietly slipping away. Your body is still listening. It is still capable of responding. You simply have to give it the right signal, consistently, every single morning. I want to share something real with you. One of my patients, let's call him James, 71 years old, came to see me 14 months ago. Strong man, former tradesman. He sat across from me and said quietly, "Dr. Mariana, I don't recognize myself anymore. I used to be the first one up and the last one to sit down. Now I can barely get through the afternoon." He wasn't on any medications. His blood work looked passable by standard measures. But when we dug into his micronutrient panel, the picture was clear. Severely deficient in vitamin D, borderline low in zinc and magnesium, and his free testosterone was near the floor despite his total testosterone reading as normal. We built the morning protocol I just described. No prescriptions, no injections, just the right targeted nutrition applied consistently. 3 months later, James came back. He said, "I feel like someone turned the lights back on." That is why I do this work, because men like James, men like you, deserve to know the truth, that what looks like inevitable decline is often simply a body waiting for the right signal. Now, I know some of you are sitting there thinking, "Dr. Mariana, I appreciate all of this, but I'm 72, maybe 75. Surely my window has passed." I want to address that thought directly, because it is the single most common thing I hear from men in my clinic, and it is the one that breaks my heart the most. You have not missed your window. The body's nutritional responsiveness does not switch off at a certain age. What changes is that it requires more intentional support, less room for error, more consistency. But the capacity to respond, to rebuild, to restore, to reclaim, that does not expire. I have seen men in their mid-70s, men who had genuinely given up, restore meaningful energy, drive, and vitality once they gave their bodies the targeted nutritional support they were starving for. This is not about being 30 again. That is not the goal, and it never should be. The goal is to be the fullest, most vital version of the man you are right now, at whatever age that is. And that version of you is still absolutely within reach. You are not broken, you are evolving. Your age is not your limit, your awareness is. Let's bring everything together into your personal action plan. Here is exactly what I want you to start tomorrow morning. First, add 300 to 600 milligrams of KSM-66 ashwagandha to your morning coffee, or take it as a capsule with breakfast. This begins the work of lowering cortisol and reactivating your hormonal factory. Second, add half a teaspoon of magnesium glycinate powder to your coffee, or take 300 to 400 milligrams in capsule form, preferably at night to also improve your sleep quality and the testosterone production that happens during it. Third, take 3,000 to 5,000 IU of vitamin D3 paired with vitamin K2 alongside your fattiest morning meal, and ask your doctor to check your 25OH vitamin D levels at your next visit. Fourth, add 25 to 45 milligrams of zinc bisglycinate or zinc picolinate with breakfast. This plugs the aromatase leak and supports testosterone synthesis at the source. Fifth, consider adding 200 to 400 milligrams of standardized tonka tali extract in the morning. Give it 6 weeks of consistent use before judging the results. Sixth, make this a non-negotiable morning ritual. Anchor it to your coffee, 30 seconds, every single day. Consistency is the ingredient no supplement can replace. Here is your challenge. Commit to this protocol for the next 30 days. Pay attention to your energy when you wake up, your mood by mid-morning, your strength during movement, your sleep quality at night. These are the real metrics, not a number on a scale, the way you feel inside your own life. 30 days, one intentional morning at a time, and I genuinely believe what you notice at the end of that month will make you want to keep going. Gentlemen, your body is not your enemy. It is not giving up on you. It is asking for the right support, in the right form, with the right consistency. And now you know exactly what that looks like. If this video gave you something useful today, a new idea, a new ingredient, a new reason to try, give it a like. It takes 1 second and it helps more men find this information when they need it. Subscribe to the channel. I put out practical, science-backed men's health content every week, and I never want you to miss what's coming next. And tell me in the comments, which of these 6 secrets are you going to try first? I read every single comment, and your answer might inspire another man who is sitting right where you were 10 minutes ago. I'm Dr. Mariana. Aging is not the end of vitality. It's an invitation to live smarter. I'll see you in the next one.